It's time for ACC Central, presented by Just Means Less.
I drive into right. It's enough. It's back. And it's gone for the cycle. It's a walk-off grand slam. Florida State wins it.
Hosted by Monty Taylor.
In the air, center field. Moore is under it. And on to Omaha with a Cardinal.
Micah Butel.
Fly ball driven into left field. Spin. Does he do it? He does. A walk-off homer by Ken Schmidt.
And Nick Dioli.
Gets it down. Here comes Micah. He is safe. And Boston College wins.
That's ball off the plate for 2 balls, 2 strikes. Monty just got landed on.
There are 2 pigeons roosting right above me, and my can of Pepsi
Smacked into right field. And a
Welcome back, college baseball fans. I'm Monty Taylor. Joining me is Nick Dioli. Micah has a prior engagement, may or may not be joining us here tonight at various spots inside the broadcast. But for now, it's just me and Nick Dioli. Nick, how you doing?
Monty, I am doing pretty well. Fun weekend, sir. How are you doing?
Baseball's back. Couldn't be better. I got to watch 3 games instead of the 4 I was hoping to see, but I did get to see all 3 of North Carolina's starting pitchers go casually be really, really good to start the year. So it was great to be there. Unfortunately, I didn't get over to Duke with the weather and the way that they matched up the doubleheaders. Unfortunately, just didn't make it over there. Shout out to Moose getting ejected on opening day. It was the second game, so not his first game in charge, but he was ejected in the second game.
My guy.
Yep, but they did start 3-1. So, yeah. Oh, there's Micah jumping in. Oh, we
as you were adding me, so it ended up removing me.
So Micah is here. He'll be kind of in and out, it sounds like, throughout the show as he can, but he will be involved. Micah, how you doing, buddy? I thought, it occurred to me, I know you're at a different event, but I thought your original plan weeks ago was LSU tonight.
It was, but I got a chance to make some extra cash tonight, so I took the cash route.
Yep, sellout. No.
The portal got me, man. I'm just like, plus, I will say the LSU game did get moved to a night game, so that made it a little bit more like, because I have to leave for Texas at 7 a.m. tomorrow because week for Lamar. So,
all right. Well, baseball is back, and so is non-sleeping Micah.
Retweet.
So let's review some of our weekend preview predictions. Nick, go ahead and show off the shirt you're wearing there.
Cards, baby. Let's go.
Nick
2-2. Let's go, baby. Probably should have been 3-1. Very close to being 3-1, but 2-2. That is straight cash, boys. That is cash. Let's go.
Yep, I will say I said they'd go 1-3. Micah said 0 for 4. They went 2-2. They got a win over a top 25 Arizona team. They beat Nebraska today. They lost by just 1 run to both Oregon State and Michigan. So I think there's an argument they could have been 4-0, which I still would have not bought in on. I will not be bamboozled. So props to you for nailing that particular prediction. The other one, all of us kind of needed to walk back on is we all thought Washington might be the best team that Wake Forest, NC State, and Boston College play in Puerto Rico. That was not true. They did not score a run against the ACC in any of those games. They scored some runs today against Houston, but We were all wrong thinking Washington was the best team that they were going to face. Instead, it's Houston, and it's Overreaction Monday. So, Nick, go ahead. Make the call.
Houston, Omaha. That's my Overreaction Monday, boys. Houston to Omaha. 4-0. Go Cougs.
Mike is over there trying to eat. He wants to say something.
It's Overreaction Monday, Micah. Get with the holiday.
Hey, Nick, if Houston ends up in Omaha, I will pay for your trip to Omaha. And I want a crisp, delicious steak in Omaha on you if you're wrong.
Oh.
That's like a
pretty good
deal there. I'm just saying.
And that makes sense given the odd difference as well. I mean, that seems like a fair.
You know what?
Yeah.
That is tempting, boys. I mean, it is Overreaction Monday, so I am in the holiday spirit. You know, you might ask me tomorrow, and I might be like, about that.
Well, sounds like something to think about there.
Yeah, we'll think about it. We'll think about it, Micah.
Give Houston a couple more games to for Nick to get more confident, maybe. No, Micah said, "Don't sleep on Wagner." I think we could have slept a little bit on Wagner.
He scored 30 runs.
Yeah, but did you see their defense?
Okay.
I mean, they had about 12 errors.
Monty, if I told you they scored 30 runs, would you be a little scared too? Are you not a little bit scared about Virginia's pitching right now?
We'll get into that, but they didn't score 30 runs.
They scored like 20-something, okay? It's all right. But, I mean, you can't tell me it wasn't a sweat in game one.
No, they trailed in all, like UVA trailed in all three games, I believe, at some point. But my point was the defense was there was some really bad defensive play that I haven't seen in a while. But I will retract that one. I apologize, Mike. I do know they scored a bunch of runs, but all right. Clemson 2-1. Micah, who had Clemson in Omaha, went and decided to give them a loss opening weekend. The guy that was put in front of a wall and has a vendetta against Clemson picked them to go 3-0. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Again, game one, really close. Almost nailed it. So
yeah, you did.
I am 2-1 too.
Yep, you did, but you don't have them in Omaha. But
I do. That's true.
I also said the ACC would go 9-0 in Puerto Rico and was immediately wrong. Wake Forest lost to Houston to open up college baseball, but they did go 6-2. Obviously, NC State didn't get to play the 9th game that we would have had, but pretty good showing overall, just not the 9-0 I expected. All right, let's revisit our X Factors. All right. So Jimmy Natai, only 2 hits. This does not count today's stats for Jimmy Natai. This is all from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mark Quattrani, my X Factor for Notre Dame, went 5 for 9. Shout out to Micah. RJ Hamilton in the first game of the doubleheader Friday had 2 triples right off the bat. So Micah was looking pretty smart. Didn't do a ton the rest of the weekend there, but a solid performance from him. And then Kaylee went with AJ Gracia, who got an RBI in his first plate appearance as a Who. So that was pretty good. But I'd have to say that my X Factor hitter was the best choice. Just saying. Pitching wise, though, Kaylee going a little bit. Jason DeCaro.
Whoa! Your hitter was the best. 3 RBIs, 1 RBI, Monty. Tell me who was more important.
Well, Mark Quattrani was behind the plate playing better defense. Well, I don't know. But, I mean, all right. But pitching-wise, AJ Colarusso, no earned runs. He did give up the 2 unearned runs. Looked pretty good most of the day. Jason DeCaro just casually dominant. Command wasn't all there necessarily. That was Kaylee's X Factor. Aiden Weaver was pretty good. went longer than I expected him to do. 5 innings, pretty good. Mason Patel struggled a little bit in the early going, settled in and was dominant, but I'd have to say Jason DeCaro probably the best performance on the day. Kaylee picking them. We'll have maybe some different guest pickers for the X Factors throughout the year. I forgot to follow up on who Micah was going to suggest last week, and then I had to rush to do my graphic. But sounds like Micah wants to make a case for RJ Hamilton being the best X Factor hitter. But I think
the best X Factor pitcher too.
You think so?
I mean, I think so, but I'll just,
I'm fine with that. I was just voicing my opinion, but
I'll say this: I had the best X Factors of all of us. Comboed them. If I'm second place in all of them, I would take it.
I will give that. I will give you that. Nicely done, Micah. Nicely done. And remember, these are going to reset when conference play starts, so that we can pick. Once we start conference play, we won't be able to re-pick guys. But yeah. Oh, it said I should be wearing the Georgia Tech hat since I'm going to be a color on radio tomorrow. But I've worn the Georgia Tech hat so much that I've got to switch it up. But I will be wearing the Georgia Tech hat on site since I'll be part of the booth there. Nick, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I found Natai's box
stats for today.
Yeah, so 1 for 5 with the double and RBI.
So he had another extra base hit. Not the best average on the weekend, but still, I mean, it sounds like Stanford came to hit outside of the Oregon State game. But I mean, I'm kind of impressed with Stanford. We can talk about that here in a second as we move into more of what we're going to talk about today. Let's get into some of the overreactions. We've already kind of talked about Overreaction Monday. Let's start with who impressed us the most this weekend. Before we jump into it, I do want to shout out, make sure we cover some topics. Virginia, Miami, and Georgia Tech all scored 50-plus runs in 3 games, which I believe all 3 were program records for the weekend. Virginia, 69. Nice. Miami had 57 and Georgia Tech had 50. Wake and UNC pitching was as advertised, and then there were 8 sweeps. So the ACC as a total went 38-10 and scored something like 459 runs on the weekend. But let's start with Nick. Who impressed you the most?
I mean, probably the Stanford Cardinal. Going 2-2 on the week, the bats showed up. The pitching wasn't bad. They almost beat Oregon State yesterday. Stanford really did. I know I picked them to go 2-2, but I don't know. They looked like they played some clean ball. The bats were on fire. Overall, as a team, Stanford was the team that impressed me the most this week.
Love that. Micah?
I think my answer is NC State. I think they were the one that they were pretty dominant. Like they made light work of their 2 games this weekend. It was kind of, not necessarily I thought they were going to lose them, but like the way they just controlled that Washington game. There was never, Washington obviously didn't have a very good weekend, especially against ACC teams, but in the way NC State just made light work of them. And then was it Indiana State was the second game for them?
Yes.
Like they in control that whole game. There was never they were probably one of the few ACC teams this whole weekend that didn't have a second of doubt in any of their games. So I think NC State for me impressed the most.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Especially since that might be easier to forget given they got the 3rd game canceled. I'd have to have expected them to be able to handle Seton Hall pretty well too, but you never know. But unfortunately their home opener is Wednesday. But yeah, that's a good shout there. I'm going to go with Virginia's offense, to be honest. I thought they'd be solid, but without Jake Witherspoon, Kyle Johnson only got into the last game as a hitter. I was pretty impressed with Virginia's offense scoring all those runs. I didn't expect quite that amount, but there's some other things that we'll need to talk about. But there were 8 teams that swept. Whose sweep was the most impressive? We got Georgia Tech, UVA, Virginia Tech, UNC, Clemson, and Miami. They all had 3-game sweeps, and then Florida State and NC State had 2-game sweeps due to shortened weather.
Clemson for me. I think, again, there was 3 games. The Army game, because they won in different ways. They obviously had to play that tight contested game 1 with Army, and they found a way to win that one late. And I think they were down 2-0 too, if I'm not mistaken, going into.
They were, yep. In the 8th inning, Jacob Jarrell, the clutch gene that we know he has.
Home run to tie it in the 8th, and then obviously the walk-off there in the 9th. So doing that was huge, and then obviously just dominating the other 2 games in the doubleheader on Saturday. So I think for me, Clemson had the most impressive sweep.
It might have been 7th, and he tied it in the 7th, and then 8th they went ahead because I don't think they walked off. Yeah, I think Joe Allen.
Correct. Yeah, it was the 7th and the 8th. You're right, but
yeah. So that was a really clutch home run. I mean, Jacob Jarrell, when he gets up in those situations, I almost don't know if I'm pitching to him. Because he comes up clutch so often in those moments. I think back to the ACC tournament Grand Slam last year. He's just probably one of the more underrated catchers in the conference. I still think he should have been drafted, but that's a good shout. What about you, Nick? Who do you think of the teams that swept was the most impressive for you?
Honestly, I think it's Virginia Tech. And the reason why I'm going them is because of if you're ranking the tiers of the ACC where they're at, they're the only ones that went 3-0. Their bats were great. Hunter Renfroe, who we're all really, really high on. Brett, not Hunter Renfroe. Brett Renfroe looked really good his first outing of the season.
Only threw 2 innings though.
Yeah. But I think Virginia Tech did, honestly.
Yeah, Preston Kroll looked incredible out of the bullpen in relief of Renfroe. 5 shutout innings. He's their bullpen ace. I didn't know he was stretched out that much to throw that many innings, but I'm going to go with UNC. I mean, the level of competition, the way they were able to, the pitching was able to shut down the Indiana offense. Now, I will grant that they probably should have lost that 3rd game, but it is what it is. And, there was an error that Jake Schaffner made that allowed Indiana to take the lead in the first place as well. So, but I thought UNC, the way the pitching came out as advertised, and none of the, of Boaz, DeCaro, and Lynch, none of them had particularly sharp command, and yet they were just so casually dominant that it didn't matter. And it just kind of scares me to see what they can do next. So it's gonna be fun to watch. Also, Matty Mathias back. He was outstanding. He was the one that actually got that ground ball that should have ended the inning. And ultimately, Jake Schaffner overthrew Eric Paulson at first and allowed Indiana to then get a base hit that took the lead. So it just an interesting series there. That UNC one was pretty cool one to be at. I would have liked to have gotten over to Duke, didn't get there over in time, but all right. Let's talk about who disappointed the most. And you can go with the player here because I think all of us can kind of agree that Louisville kind of disappointed us this weekend. No, you don't think so at all?
I had a better choice in my opinion.
Oh, a better choice. Okay. But you were disappointed by it.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
I thought you were saying no in I was gonna be interested to see how you spun it. Go ahead, hit me with yours, Micah.
Cal.
That's true. I mean, they
got
did
run ruled in game 1 and struggled. I mean, they won game 2 and game 3. Obviously, winning games is what matters. But
yeah,
they did not look like Louisville. Yes, they didn't look great, right? Like they had the back and forth game 1, looked bad in game 2. But the way they dominated game 3, it's kind of like week 1 things happen. Cal never at any point looked very good this weekend. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm higher on Cal than us. I think the rest of us were, or at least we're pretty close to that equal parlay. I mean, so it was tough to see. Because again, they got destroyed in game 1. It wasn't even competitive. And then game 2 and 3 were very competitive, but it wasn't there was nothing that jumped off the page.
Yeah, and I think we all went 3-0 on the pick, and I'm bullish on Cal as well. I don't know if it was as high as you were, but I expected a lot more out of them in that first game. I was like, oh no, yeah, that's a good shout because I kind of forgot after, but they were close. Very close games Saturday and Sunday. Or both games Saturday. Sorry, it was doubleheader out there on the West Coast. What about you, Nick?
I am going to go with a player. I am going to go Blake Morningstar on this one. And overreaction, right? The first game of the season, and that's what everyone is seeing on Twitter. Wake lost. Wake got blown out, yada yada. But he had a bad third inning. I think the error from Cade Lewis was not good, did not help his situation. The reason why I'm not picking Wake as a whole is because they did bounce back. The rest of the pitching looked really great. The bats woke up in the next 2 games. But, yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Morningstar. I think he'll bounce back for sure. I mean, I think he is their number 1 ace. He'll obviously remain the Friday guy. It's the first game of the first day. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, really early start as well. You don't know what kind of plays into that. I was a little disappointed by that. They were missing a couple of players, obviously. When I first looked at the lineup, I just automatically assumed that Costello was Luke and did not realize that Andrew was starting in right for the whole series. Andrew Costello, because I just saw the Costello and my mind automatically was like, yep, that just confirms what I thought. It's Luke. And it took me a double take to realize that was Andrew Costello starting. JD Stein had a pretty decent debut. The offense is going to get going, I think, but the pitching really came around. Chris Lavonis, 9 strikeouts, didn't even complete 4 innings and had 9 strikeouts. Duncan Marston, one of your breakout guys, 4 innings, shutout innings, fantastic for him. You had Reese Bowie looked really good. So, if the pitching is as good as it could be, it was a very strong bounce back after the disappointing loss on opening day. But I'll go with Louisville. It is opening weekend, and we might just forget about this, but we were so high on Louisville, and yes, they're without Zion Rose, but he's still in the dugout with them. He's still the heart and soul of the team, so it's not like he's not there. Like, I know that's tough to, the lineup, but, I think Micah said it in the preview show. He said, the pitching might be a concern at times, but even if they give up 10 runs, I'm expecting them to win 13-10. And there were times the offense didn't really get going. So that was a little bit of a concern because I expected more from the offense. They didn't steal as many bases as we would have liked to have seen. But, it's a quality group. I think Louisville will bounce back, and I'm excited to see where they go. We don't know. For all we know, this Michigan State team could actually be pretty good. I don't necessarily think so, but you never know.
Houston, Michigan State, final series.
Who does the voiceover intro to the shows? I will tell you that it is AI generated with some heavily edited stuff. So it was, I typed in a sentence, it was read, and then I sent it through a bunch of filters. So there's not actually a real person that does the intro voiceover to the show. Let's move on. Which team had red flags that concerned you? I'm going to start with Micah. I think I know where he's going to go with this, but let's hit it, Micah.
Could you guess?
I could, and they are valid.
Virginia's pitching. Red flag.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree there. I think for somebody who believes, I do believe in the pitching staff. I still do. However, based on what we saw, there are some concerns. Now, Kyle Johnson did not get to pitch. As far as we know, he should be back soon, but we heard that last year with Evan Blanco, so we'll see if that's true. Obviously, Henry Zatkowski had 12 walks all of last season. He had 4 alone on Friday. Did not have a great outing. I expect more from him. Max Stammel was good, but only pitched 3 innings. Michael Yeager struggled. You hope that Kyle Johnson, if he comes in and solidifies that, it'll be all right. Lucas Hartman was okay. Joe Colucci and Kevin Jackson were both fantastic. Jaden Stroman was good. And then outside of that, I'm trying to think. It was a bit of a mess there. Let me actually pull it up. I could tell you exactly what we got out of Virginia's guys. Zatkowski gave up 5 earned. Hartman, Colucci, and Yoder combined to give up 0 earned run in game 1. In game 2, Stammel started 3 innings, no runs given up, 5 Ks. He was actually fantastic, just not stretched out enough. Charlie O'Shell, 4 earned runs. Jacksel, no earned runs. Thomas Stewart, 2 earned runs. And Jaden Stroman gave up none. And then Michael Yeager gave up 4 earned runs. There were a lot of unearned runs from Virginia. It's funny, I mentioned Wagner's defense early in the show. Virginia had some issues there as well. And then I mentioned Drew Kanan had 2 shutout innings. Christian Lucarelli gave up 1 run and 1.2. Nate Bassett and Ryan Pryor each had shutout innings, and then Dean Campshire gave up 2 runs. So a mixed bag of results there from a number of guys, but yeah. Also, I should probably have changed from who impressed down to which team had red flags that concerned you, because we're talking about Virginia's pitching. So, Micah, that was your segment, but I kind of took it over there. I'll let you continue on there. Got nothing left. I took care of it all.
No, I could say more. I'm in a ballpark right now, so there's loud music playing. So I was like, I'm trying not to talk at the second, but I'm good now. No, I mean, again, it's not the end of the world, right? I mean, it's weekend 1. Every team's trying to figure out who their guys are going to be, and especially it's technically year 1, right, of these guys. But like, it is a little bit tough, right? Just to kind of see Wagner's offense have so much success. I mean, great to see the bats be able to bail them out, but I mean, giving up 10 and 8, like, yeah, they scored, was it 56 runs in those 18 innings or whatever against Wagner, or I guess 16 innings worth of hitting, like 56 runs, but they also gave up 18.
It was 18 innings because they did not. None of these games were.
They only hit in the 8th, all through 8.
Oh,
so
that's yeah.
Through. So, but like in their 18 innings, they allowed 18 runs. Like, that's not super great against a team like Wagner. So, just concerns. I mean, again, not the end of the world. They dominated those games. Just
and if you listen to Pollard's post game, he says this is nowhere near the best version of Virginia. There's obviously things to work on, but there is also a lot to be excited about for Virginia as well. But I do like that Micah brought up the red flag there. Okay, Nick, hit me with yours.
Yeah, I was going to go Virginia, but I just knew Micah was going to take it. So I'll pivot to the Cal Bats. Kind of concerned me a lot. They did need a walk-off the other day to win. They're winning right now against Santa Clara 1-0. But I think overall, like, if we want to see Cal do something, kind of impress us a little bit, I think the Bats really need to get going.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go with honestly, Virginia's pitching is probably the big one for me.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech pitching a little bit. I think that's being nitpicky though. Overall, I thought they were pretty good. Renfroe only pitched 2 innings. He gave up 2 earned runs. Griffin Stee gave up 2 earned runs in 4.2. And then Ethan Grimm actually had the best start of the starters, the freshman. He only gave up 1 run, but I thought Aiden Robertson, who would be a huge boost in the rotation, he only pitched 1 inning, gave up 1 earned run. So, giving up, 9, 11 runs in 3 games to William Mary's not bad, especially when you compare it to what Wagner gave up, and they only gave up more than 2 runs in 1 game. So I'm really nitpicking here, and it's not that bad. But we lost Micah for a second, which is fine. But yep, moving along. Let's talk about who surprised you this weekend.
Who surprised?
You were sent these beforehand. What?
Dude, I was thinking about my answer. Like, what did I say earlier today? Yeah, Duke.
Duke pitching, I would imagine.
Yeah,
because we expected them to go 3-1 or 4-0. Like,
right.
I don't think the actual like number result, but I think the pitching. I mean, because that's for me that the pitching surprised me.
Yeah. I think this was a fantastic start for Corey Muscara and the Duke Blue Devils. I mean, going 3-1 this weekend was huge. They're going to face bigger and better teams, right? But I think we were all felt pretty optimistic that if they go 3-1, maybe it's not going to be as bad as the season. Maybe they have some things together. So, I was really surprised by Duke.
Yeah, they only gave up 8 earned runs in 34 innings. I initially said I'm losing my mind on last night on Twitter, and I think I said 54 innings, which would have been 6 games in a 2-day period. They played 4 games. One of them was a 7-inning one, but yeah, they were fantastic. I mean, Aiden Weaver was able to go 5 innings, but Ben Dean actually made my team of the week. He was the 3rd pitcher after Wyatt Danilowicz and Michael Sharman. He went 5 innings, struck out 9, no earned runs, just gave up 1 hit. Was huge after they'd lost the night before. And the offense didn't get going in that game. They only scored 3 runs, and it was pivotal for him to do that. But my guy Marcello Mastriani was good in relief. He had 2 shutout innings. Roman DiGiacomo came out and had 2 shutout appearances. I think he went 1.1 innings. But another guy, Jack Hedrick, sophomore, that came out and had 4 shutout innings. Really pleased for him. So you had some really good performances from Duke, and what I like to see, it's again, they played all those games. They played 2 doubleheaders back to back. So that for their pitching to put in that kind of performance, even against Maine, very impressive. So I like that shout. I am gonna go with a couple, some guys, Clemson Tigers. In their pitching, I think some of the guys that I'm ready to call dudes are dudes, like Nate Savoy. He's obviously not a pitcher. He's a catcher and outfielder, but he's a guy that was in contention for player of the week. He went 8 for 11 with 7 RBIs and then had 2 more walks. Bryce Clavon was making some plays in the outfield, making us forget all about Cam Canarella, and then he had a home run at the plate as well. Not a bad Clemson debut for him. And then on the mound, we know what Connacht's going to do, right? But Michael Sharman wasn't even projected to be a starter. I'm not sure he starts on the weekend if Drew Titsworth isn't out, and he just he takes a perfect game into the 5th inning and retires the first 17 batters he faced before a fielding error, and then a single kind of ruins his perfect game and no hit bid at the same time. But no walks, 8 strikeouts, gets the W against Army. And then Justin LeGuernick is a guy who has some legit stuff and has never really been able to harness that. But against Army in the nightcap doubleheader, he went 5 shutout innings in relief of Talon Bell and was fantastic. No walks, 6 strikeouts. And if he's somebody who can harness that command like he did this weekend, Clemson's pitching staff gets all the more scary. So
yeah, they looked really, really impressive this weekend.
So
the overreaction might make me regret not picking him to go to Omaha.
There you go. All right, who are you buying stock in?
Also, Micah texted me his last 2 answers. He said Duke pitching staff as well.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Who am I buying stock in? I am buying stock. Oh, wait, I had 2. The first one is the NC State Bats. I was kind of down going into this season about the NC State Bats.
You know who wasn't?
You guys were not.
Especially I told you.
You did tell me. And you know what? They proved me. They proved me wrong.
They proved me wrong. Right.
Yeah. So I am buying in on the NC State Bats. Dalton Bargo, back-to-back days with home runs. That was huge. So I will buy stock in the NC State Bats. And I will also give you credit here, Monty, because you've been harping on them. I am buying stock in the Notre Dame Fighting Irish after week 1.
Yeah, I was a little nervous. They struggled a little. The offense couldn't get going against FAU on Friday. I think that was part of the ace that FAU threw out there. Jack Radell was pretty good. He only gave up a 3-run home run. That ended up being a big part of the difference. But the Bats woke up the rest of the weekend. Ty Uber was fantastic on Sunday. Really excited about Notre Dame. But yeah, good one to buy stock in, my guy. I'm going to buy stock in Gavin Suarez of the Boston College Eagles. I mean, he comes in on Friday. On Friday. They're playing Seton Hall. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to Jacob Ford, who hit a go-ahead home run in that game for Seton Hall, and then broke his fibula and tibula rounding the bases, celebrating the go-ahead spot, and is, I presume, out for the year. It was a really gruesome injury. But Gavin Suarez comes in later in the game, induces an inning-ending double play immediately to get out of the jam, proceeds to strike out the side in the 8th, and then works around a single in the 9th to absolutely dominate that performance. He is a legit ACC reliever. I'm kind of buying stock in that entire Boston College pitching staff. What they did this weekend was really, really good. Tyler Mudd came in and threw 5 shutout against Washington on Sunday. We didn't even see Brady Miller or Kyle Kipp, who are, we think are going to be big parts of Boston College's plans. So I'm going to buy stock in the Golden Eagles and Gavin Suarez in particular. And that's about where I'm at. Some absolute studs. I do also want to buy some stock in the UVA catching core. Jake Weatherspoon was out. He was the guy who led them in home runs in the fall. He's a Gold Glover behind the plate at the JUCO level. He was out, and first-year Thomas O'Connell and grad transfer Noah Juris just stepped in and just mashed. Both were fantastic. Didn't miss a beat, and just props to UVA having a really good catching group. And finding ways to get the first year some love there. So moving along, what's Micah's answer for this?
Yeah, Micah said Stanford.
Stanford binds. I refuse. Give me till conference play. I will not be bamboozled.
2-2. Come on, Monty. 2-2.
How fantastic was it that Rintaro had a double and a home run in his first game of the year? I think that was huge, but he didn't do too much Saturday and Sunday. So
I really missed out on getting on my fantasy team.
Yep. Favorite moment of the weekend, there were 3 walk-offs. There was a Macon walk-off home run bomb for North Carolina. Hideki Prather and Sam Grube had walk-offs for Cal and Virginia Tech, respectively. What was your favorite moment? And it doesn't have to be any of those. You can pick your own. What was your favorite moment of the weekend?
Corey Muscara getting ejected.
Were you watching, or did you find out when I texted?
So yes, I found out when you were texted, but I was already I texted him before earlier that day, just like, hey, good luck this season. Hope to see you in Durham, whatever. And then you texted me, and I texted him back. Well, he replied back to me like later on that night. I was like, you would get ejected your first game. I won't say what he said to me, but that was that whole shebang that happened when you texted me and I texted him was my favorite moment of the weekend. It made me laugh that night.
Love that. What was Micah's?
Micah did not send that.
Okay, so he didn't send that one. I will give a shout out to Caleb Daniel. I tweeted out when they did the lineups, and I told people that it was crazy that Caleb Daniel was batting 8th. And because I was expecting him to bat 6th ahead of Ryan Zuckerman, and he just casually hits a ball off the center field wall that ricochets away from the fielder and gets an inside the park home run, and then immediately hits a home run in his second at bat to make me look like a genius when I said that. But because I was there live, I'm going to go with and because I love Macon Winslow, I'm going to go with the Macon Winslow walk-off bomb. Nice. In his welcome to Chapel Hill moment. Obviously, it was tough to see the second baseman struggle the way he did for Indiana. That took away some of the enjoyment because, as soon as the ball got hit there, this is a routine, about as routine as a play as you can make. But we'd seen this kid struggle with the throw to first all day. And so normally what happens to me is I start to look down to write in my scorebook the 4-3 put out, right? And I didn't look down at all because I knew something. This throw could be interesting. So unfortunately, we kind of groaned because we felt for him. But yeah, just a moment there. But Macon Winslow coming on in extra innings, hitting the walk-off home run, really, really cool moment there.
Also, shout out Nick Wayne getting a big homer from injury last year too.
The Wang Bang. I got
Wang
to text
bang.
that. I was really excited for the Wang Bang. All right, let's look at my all freshman team. I wanted to share my teams of the week. There were a ton of freshmen that played. Georgia Tech and UVA and Miami, because of the huge deficits, got to play all their backups and freshmen. So I had plenty to choose from. I think more than I've had in recent years. But the catcher for Miami that Canes Cats Heat is always telling us about, Alonzo Alvarez, he had 3 hits, and they were all for extra bases. He was our freshman of the week. And then Brooks Perez had his first home run. He was playing first base for the Duke Blue Devils. And you can look in there. Dylan Harrison had a great outing in relief in game 1 for Clemson. looks like he's going to get opportunities for high leverage moments for Clemson. And then, some Cal guys on there, Kevin Gian, Jet Kennedy, Jet Wright, a lot of Jets. But yeah, anyone stick out here for you?
I mean, honestly, I was going to say Alonzo Alvarez just because, that's huge. 3 extra base hits as a freshman in your first opening weekend. And you're the backup to Alex Sosa. I mean, the catchers look pretty dang good down in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the veteran Jackson Hugas, who's gonna. I don't know how much playing time he's gonna get with Sosa and Alvarez there, but we love us some Hugas. Moving along to take a look at the actual team of the week. I texted you guys last night. There were about 100 players in contention for 16 spots. I was able to narrow it down. I have a full article with all the honorable mentions, everyone who was kind of looked at for this award or for this team, all ACC team. I'll do this throughout the year. I don't know if I'll have an article each time, but I will have the graphic every time. Obviously, my official votes for ACC Players of the Week was Derek Williams, who did end up winning, and then I voted Michael Sharman because I thought the no-hitter was impressive, but Wyatt Danilowicz getting it for Louisville is very deserving. What he was able to do when they were, needed to avoid a sweep was fantastic, so he won the Pitcher of the Week award for Louisville. But looking at this, just some dudes on here.
Yeah. You know who I'm going to shout out, Monty, which team we actually have not talked about yet?
Oh, man, there was a team we didn't talk about?
There is one, yes. And we're going to talk about it right now. Kai Wagner, Pitt.
You're right.
Yeah.
We did not talk about Pitt. Pitt won their weekend 2-1. Kai Wagner, a big reason why. Yeah, that's a good shout. I apologize to Pitt for, the one team that we hadn't talked about. I'm glad you got it in there. Kai Wagner, 6 for 13. He had a home run, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, 4 walks. So he reached base in 10 appearances this weekend. AJ Nessler was also very close to this team of the week. He went 7 for 12 with a home run, 4 RBIs, 6 runs, 4 walks. And 2 stolen bases. So Pitt looking pretty good. Julian Irizarry, another guy that I think was close on there. He went 5 for 11 with 2 doubles, 3 RBI, and just a great performance there from the Pitt offense that we're excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just laugh?
Did I laugh? No, I just went.
Oh, I thought you said.
No, I just.
So this is kind of the new format we're kind of doing for non-conference because we don't want to spend a whole bunch of time going through slides and talking, for 20 minutes about, Miami and Lehigh, even though we could. We thought this might be a little bit better format, get you guys a lot of information in a shorter amount of time. And once conference play starts again, we'll be into that full slide talking about every series going down and dirty.
Down and dirty. I like this format. Good on you for changing it up. This was a lot easier, a lot more fun, honestly.
Yeah, I think this is a good way to kind of go about the non-conference because otherwise we go through 16 different series and it just ends up being an hour and a half long show. I don't know how many people are watching the full hour and a half or listening to the full hour and a half, but if you did, props to you. We'll be back to probably the longer shows when we have the conference series and we get deep into it. But we got another great weekend ahead of us. But first, we got midweek madness for the first time this year. Nick, I will be at Georgia Southern for the Buzz Bombers midweek debut on the road at Georgia Southern in Statesboro, Georgia. I'll be on the radio call with Colin Lacey as the Yellow Jackets try to get to 4-0. If you're interested in hearing me on the radio, I will share that tomorrow, the link for that, so that you guys can listen to me on the radio as I hopefully provide some pretty good analysis. It's a little bit better when I get 2 ACC teams, but because I don't know obviously a ton about Georgia Southern, but I will be doing some research on them before I get down there. But yeah, Nick, you got anything to share before we say goodbye to everybody?
Yeah, I will actually be at Wake's home opener tomorrow as well.
Oh, I would have said that if I'd known.
That's okay.
High Point.
High Point, yes. For a second, I thought it was UNCG, but yes, High Point. Yeah, so big day at the couch. I hope to see some people there that watch our show. And also, I texted you guys this, but I usually do top 5 stats starting week 2, at the end of week 2, because just doing week 1 stats, top 5 stats for everybody after week 1 is just there. Some teams played 2 games, very rare occasions. Some teams played 1, some teams played 4. That way, after week 2, it all kind of evens out, and we kind of get a clearer feel of who's like really leading these stats. So stats will come out after week 2 next week.
Awesome. Love to hear that. We will be back on Wednesday with a weekend preview. But until then, it just means less.